Society, it is Coach Royal here, and we are talking about something really good today. Well, you probably know from the description or the title that we are talking about overcoming inconsistency. Oh my gosh, I am the cheerleader, the chairman, the spokesperson for overcoming inconsistency, because I was that inconsistent person. I was supposed to do YouTube a long time ago and couldn't get it done because I was so inconsistent. So what better person to talk to you about overcoming inconsistency than somebody who has actually overcame the spirit of inconsistency? You hear me? I have lived it. I got the hat, the t-shirts to match, the mugs, and the bumper car sticker for overcoming inconsistency. And I just pride myself on being consistent now, because I just never want to go back to that place where I was just so inconsistent. And my dreams and my goals and all of this stuff, like, it just wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen the way that I needed it to happen and in the timing that I wanted it to happen. And then I would just, like, give up or whatever. I don't know, just fall by the wayside. I don't know why that spirit was so heavy on me. I guess it's because the enemy knew how far God wanted to take me, and he never wanted me to get there, and I allowed him to play tricks with my mind that caused me to walk in inconsistency. But thanks be unto God, I am delivered from inconsistency, okay? And I decree and declare it every single day. I'm delivered from inconsistency, and you're about to be delivered from inconsistency too. So if you struggle with being inconsistent and you're realizing that the issues that you're having, and it's not that you don't have the ability, it's not that you don't have the gifts, it's not that you are not capable, you have just been inconsistent. And the thing is, somebody who is less talented, less gifted, and has less than you can ultimately do more than you, and get further along than you just by being consistent. So consistency is a major key to being successful. Consistency equates success, okay? So being consistent is so important in being successful in any avenue, in anything. I don't care what it is that you want to be or want to do. Even if you want to be a good cook, whatever it is that you want to do, you need to be consistent. If you want to be a great makeup artist, you have to be consistent. Practice makes perfect. So we are talking today. I have some little notes here that I wrote down just to make sure I stay in flow, because I'll get to talking first and be all over the place. Journey with being inconsistent. Like, I was inconsistent for quite some time, for years, and mainly because I was unsure of a lot of stuff, and I always knew that I was supposed to be in ministry. I always knew that there was a call of God on my life to minister to other women, and to push women into a place of power and purpose and all that stuff. I always knew that ministry was on the inside of me. I never knew that life coaching would be the thing for me. I did know that I was called to ministry, and there was a call of God on my life. I knew I had certain gifts and certain interests, but I was unsure about a lot of things, whereas some of my friends were sure that they were going to college, they were sure that they were graduating from college, and they were going to go to college to do this and do that. I wasn't sure about any of that, okay? I didn't like school. I don't like taking all of these unnecessary classes that have nothing to do with what I want to do with my life. I'd rather take a class specifically for what I need and move on about my business. So I wasn't sure about what it is that I wanted to do. So I think I was the type of person that, tried all of these different things, and never really succeeded in these different avenues because of, one, I never stayed consistent at it. So I went to school for fashion. Firstly, I went to school for psychology. Because I knew that I wanted to have like one-on-one encounters with other people, like coaching, or at that time I didn't know it was coaching, so I thought it would be psychology. And that I knew I wanted to minister, but I was also saying I want to minister, but I want to do it in kind of like a one-on-one type of thing. Like, I want to be able to counsel other women And so I went to school for psychology. And of course, there's all of these prerequisites and all of these things that have nothing to do with the goal that I am trying to get to. So I was inconsistent. I started and then I stopped. I started again, then I stopped again. And I think I started the third time, and then I stopped again. And then I decided I don't want to do that anymore. I'm just going to go to school for fashion because I love fashion, and let me do that. So I went to school for fashion, and I loved it there. I learned a lot. Ultimately, this whole school ended up closing down. So I know, God was like, sis, no. This is not the direction that I'm taking you in. Let's go another way. But I started that didn't work out. Went on to some other things. I think I opened my own clothing boutique, which was doing pretty well. And it was called Forever Chic Boutique, and I opened my own boutique, and it was doing pretty well in the beginning. However, and I think that was like right out of high school, I opened that boutique, but I just wasn't consistent. And I also was like teaching myself everything as I went along, because nobody in my family at the time had opened a business or did any entrepreneurial activity or anything at all. I was like the first person to pursue entrepreneurship as far as establishing my own business. And I think I was like 17 or 18 at this time. So I created my own boutique, which probably could have really did some great things, but I was inconsistent and just wasn't consistent with it. So yeah, didn't want to do that anymore. I started doing mink lashes before and just wasn't consistent. Like, I started that, was building my clientele, and I'm just like, this is not what I want to do. Like, I'm not interested. So I say that to say, sometimes it's okay to try different things and figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But it's a different thing, and this is something that I had to realize and recognize about myself. It's a different thing from trying things to see if it works or see if you like it, than trying things and putting half of your effort into it and not being consistent and really not putting your all into it to the point where it may not never work, because you're not putting your all into it. And that's where I was just not being consistent. Whatever it is that I knew that I would be good at, anything that I tried, anything that I put my hands to, I always was good at it. I just lacked consistency. And it's not that I didn't have the gift. It's not that I didn't have the capability. It's not that I didn't have the desire to do it. I was just inconsistent. So I say that to say, the spirit of inconsistency will hold you back. It will hold you back. And I think I just got to the point where I was just like, I'm tired of, I remember like crying out to God one day and was just like, I really had to recommit myself to the will of God for my life and resubmit myself to my ministry first, because that's the one thing that I always been sure about since I was a child. When we were kids and my friends was talking about going to college, I was like, well, at least I know that I'll be preaching the gospel. I do know that I will be encouraging other people in their faith. I do know that I will be encouraging women in their faith. That's the one thing that I was sure about. So I had to make a recommitment about the one thing that I was certain about, which was the call of God on my life. Now, where that took me, or where God decided to take me from there, and how he decided to allow that to unfold, was going to completely be up to him, because I didn't have a clue. But the one thing that I knew is that he called me to be used by him. So I resubmitted myself to that. And I remember crying out to God, like, God, please, like, I'm just tired. I'm tired of ripping and running and just not being consistent. I really want to give my all to something. And I decided that that's something that I wanted to give my all to was the call of God on my life. So I decided to give my all and go all the way in and just not turn back. I really had to make, it really took one decision for me, it took one decision with me saying, from this day forward, literally look at myself in the mirror, from this day forward, you are not turning back, and you are going to be, for the one time in your life, be consistent with something, okay? And sometimes you just got to shake yourself up and like, listen, girl, like, get it together. This one time in your life, you're going to be consistent, and you're going to see this thing all the way through. And oh my God, like, after that one decision, the way that God has allowed doors to open for my ministry, even the way that he brought life coaching into my life, and how I said I wanted these one-on-one encounters, or these intimate encounters and experiences to counsel his women and to push women into a place of power and purpose. The way that I always knew that in my head, but I never knew that life coaching was a thing. The way that God allowed, somebody actually called me to minister. My coach actually called me to minister at her church at the time, but had no clue of what I was looking for, and something was just on my heart to ask her about mentorship, and ask her about what it is that I wanted to do, and the vision that I had in my head, and really wasn't sure how to manifest it, what it was called. I knew I couldn't go and spend all these years in school right now, but I know that there's something that God wants me to do as it involves coaching or ministering to other women. So I ended up talking to her about it, and comes to find out she had like a whole school for coaches and for like faith-based life coaching. And oh my God, like, it blew my mind. And that was because I submitted to my ministry. I submitted to the call of God on my life. I made that one decision to submit to the call of God on my life, and he brought it to me, y'all. He brought the coaching to me. He brought the business that I wanted, because I always knew that I wasn't called to just working on somebody's job, or I always knew that I was called to entrepreneurship, but not sure. I wasn't even 100% sure about what I was building. But with me just making that one decision to be consistent and to walk fully in my calling, God has opened many doors for me, and I'm just so grateful. And now, like, it's nothing that y'all can tell me about consistency, because that's an area that I can proudly say I don't lack in right now, okay? It's to the point where sometimes I'm going too hard. Like, I have to really calm down and make myself rest, because I'm so serious about being consistent in my work ethic, and just being consistent in my walking, in my calling. So here are some tips. That's just a little background on my story without all the details, not too much. Not giving y'all too much, but I really wanted to get to this part to give you some tips on how you too can transform your life, so that you are walking in consistency, walking in the spirit of consistency, and not being inconsistent, because it, again, like I said, it's not that you don't have the gift, it's not that you are not capable, it's not that God hasn't already put it in you, it's just that you lack consistency. So I'm going to give you some tips on how you can remain consistent in your purpose, okay? We talked about consistency holding you back, and my personal struggle with being inconsistent. And some of you are probably just like me, all over the place. And sometimes when you're gifted in a lot of areas, that also makes you inconsistent, because you have so many things that you could do, so many things that you want to do, so many things that you want to show the world that you can do. And here's my gift, and here's my gift, look at me. But listen, we got to get consistent in one thing first, and then allow these other things to unfold. So if you're like myself and you have many gifts, and thanks be unto God for those gifts, but we got to find an area to be consistent in, because that's where your wealth is, that is where your purpose is, and that is where your abundance is going to come from you practicing consistency. So let's talk about it. Tips on staying consistent. Let's just dive right into this thing. All right, so the first thing is to prepare yourself. This is what a lot of people lack. A lot of people lack preparation. When you lack preparation, it leads to this go with the flow type of mentality. And that go with the flow mentality will ultimately lead to you not accomplishing anything. So I know you get up, if you wake up and you don't have a plan, and you wake up, you don't have anything set in place, and you don't properly plan out your day, you're going to be on this go with the flow mentality for that day, and you're going to end up lounging around, sitting on Instagram, sitting on your computer or whatever, watching YouTube, watching Netflix. You're just going to be lounging around doing nothing. Before you know it, hours have passed you by and you've accomplished absolutely nothing. So we don't want to get into this go with the flow mentality. Properly planning helps you remain consistent. So that's one thing that I've had to learn for myself, because I was very go with the flowish. And yeah, I had to get out of the go with the flow and create a consistent flow of properly planning out my day, being strategic about what it was that I wanted to accomplish for that day, and knocking those things off of my list and making sure that they were accomplished each and every day, having a task and making sure that I'm accomplishing those things. So I'm basically holding myself accountable. Putting something on paper and having a list is a great way to hold yourself accountable to these things that you've already planned out. So first things first is to prepare yourself. A lack of planning can lead to a go with the flow mentality and eventually leads to a lack of productivity. Point number two is to write the vision and make it plain. So I already told you guys that writing out your vision, writing out your plan, writing out your goals will help you to remain consistent, because you have a clear vision on what you need to accomplish. You have a clear vision on what it is that you need to accomplish, and when you have a clear vision on what you need to accomplish, you're able to hold yourself accountable. So writing out the vision, making it plain, and making sure that your vision is clear on what it is that you want to accomplish. So setting daily goals, giving yourself a to-do list, and knocking down those things off of your to-do list, checking those things off your to-do list. Hold yourself accountable. The Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. Okay, and then you can run with the vision after that. So once you write that vision and you write those goals out each and every day, and you write out that to-do list and you knock off those things off your to-do list, that is how you hold yourself accountable. So first things first was to create a plan. The second thing was to write the vision and make it plain. And the last tip that I'm going to leave you with is to see yourself as the star of your vision. See yourself as the star of your vision. See yourself as capable. See yourself as worthy. See yourself as worthy. See yourself as capable. See yourself in your vision, and not that this is my future self. See yourself as being that person right now. What can I do to honor the version I want to become, the version of myself that I want to become? What can I do to honor that version of myself right now? What can I do right now today to honor the woman that I want to become? And honor her every day. Show up for her every single day. If you show up for her every single day, you will not lack consistency. But you must show up for that woman every single day. Okay, so seeing yourself as the star of your vision, knowing that you are able right now, you are capable right now, it's already in you right now, you already have it right now. What can you do right now? The problem is we romanticize the future, and we see everything as what can I do in the future, or what I'm becoming in the future this, in the future that, and we are not honoring our present. We are not honoring where we are right now. We're not using what we have in this moment right now. So if you honor the woman that you want to become right now in this moment, each and every day, and you make sure that each and every day, what can I do today to honor the woman that I want to become? And then you write down what you're going to do to honor that woman. You write down that vision and you make it plain. And then you prepare yourself. Make sure that your schedule is set up. Make sure that your to-do list and your tasks are set up. Prepare yourself each and every day. I don't care if you got to take clothes out at night. Where you in quarantine, so you might not have to take no clothes out, but you at least can create a to-do list for what it is that you need to accomplish. And don't think just because you're home in quarantine that there's nothing to accomplish. There's so much to get done. If you haven't started that business, start that business. Write that to-do list. I'm going to get my LLC today. I'm going to get my EIN number today. I'm going to reach out to a bank to see how I can open a business account. Do those things today. Write out that to-do list and then consistently do that every single day that you wake up, or the night before. Sometimes the night before I'll write things down for the next day, so when I wake up that morning I already have a plan, I already have a vision, I already know what it is that I need to do, so I'm not going with the flow. Because when you just go with the flow and you waking up and whatever come at me today just gonna come at me today, you're not going to be productive and you're not going to get anything done. Or if you do, if you are productive, you won't start being productive until the end of the day, because you've wasted your entire morning doing nothing. So if you start the top of your day with a vision, it helps you to remain consistent. So I would say prepare yourself the night before. Write the vision and make it plain. And then show it for yourself each and every day as the woman that you want to be. See yourself as the star of your vision. It's not the vision that you saw for somebody else. It's not seeing yourself in somebody else's vision, seeing yourself living the life of somebody else on Instagram. Whatever vision you have for your life, see yourself as the star of that vision right now. And what can we do today to honor the woman that we want to be? So those are my tips on staying consistent. I pray that you remain consistent and the spirit of inconsistency loose you and let you go, okay? And we walk in the power of our consistency so that we can become successful and we can live the life that God has promised us here on earth. All right, thank you so much. I am Coach Royal and I love you. Thank you for watching. If you are not subscribed, make sure you click below and subscribe right now. Like this video, share this video, take a picture or something, share it on Instagram and let me know that you watched it. Leave your comments and thoughts in the comments below. Leave some feedback and some love on my Instagram at Shanice_Royal. And yep, that's it. I hope you remain consistent and really live out your dreams and your purpose here on earth. Alrighty.